2003, on behalf of Mr. Ara Abrahamyan, President of Armenian World Congress, Russian-Argentinian First Business Forum took place in Buenos Aires. Over 200 businessmen of two countries participated in this forum. According to before it elaborated program, outstanding businessman Carlos Bulguroni and Russian businessman Ara Abrahamyan were elected as presidents. In their greeting speech, both Carlos Bulguroni and Ara Abrahamyan hoped that this fascinating business activity would have great impact on the establishment of efficient economic cooperation of these two countries. Ara Abrahamyan had a hope that they would have the expected success in the near future. In the days of the forum, the representative discussed a lot of interesting issues. In these days, the Russian guest with Ara Abrahamyan had some important meeting with ministers presenting different fields and other officials. During this meeting, business programs presenting great interest for both countries were discussed. Especially, great interest was seen towards the programs connected with the agricultural, industrial, new technological and military fields. It's worth mentioning that the Argentinian press showed great interest towards the work of the forum. In 17th of December, the Mr. Igor Ivanov, Minister of Internal Affairs of Russia, came to Buenos Aires. During the meeting with the community, Mr. Igor Ivanov highlighted the idea of holding such kind of forums. The participation of Russian and Argentinian ministers of internal affairs to the closing of forum was not occasional. Both ministers mentioned that this business forum opened the new page in the chronicle of Russian-Argentinian economic relations. After 6 months, the second Russian-Argentinian Economic Forum took place in Moscow, during which the speakers mentioned that the enormous work was performed. Greeting the attendants, Ara Abrahamyan said that the tangible results were already seen within the dialogue continuing for 6 months, and he was sure that in the future the success achieved by them would be doubled. At the last day of the second forum, Ara Abrahamyan and Carlos Bulguroni concluded cooperation new agreement. In these days, the delegation of Russian South Korea Interstate Committee, headed by Igor Levitin, made an official visit to Seoul. Ara Abrahamyan was one of the members of this delegation. An enormous work program was elaborated for the Russian delegation. In the first day of the visit, Ara Abrahamyan had a meeting with the Commercial and Industrial Palace president. During the meeting, both sides mentioned that there were fascinating conditions for cooperation of their countries. Ara Abrahamyan mentioned that he was eager to help the businessmen of South Korea and investors on the purpose of implementation of the Russia-Korea cooperation program. In the evening of the same day, in the Hotel Lotte, Mr. Kansin Han, the president of the Union of Productive Forces and Manufacturers, had a reception in honor of his Russian companions. Mr. Han mentioned that as a result of their cooperation, the Council of Businessmen of both countries was established. Mr. Igor Levitin expressed his gratitude for the reception and mentioned that fascinating conditions of efficient cooperation in the financial, transport and power engineering field was established. Mr. Lee Kon-yen, the Deputy Prime Minister, as well as the Minister of Finance and Economy of Republic of Korea, accepted the Russian delegation. During the meeting, they discussed issues connected with their further cooperation. On the second part of the day, Mr. Ho Mi-hyun, the President of the Republic of Korea, accepted Ara Abrahamyan and Igor Levitin. The President expressed his gratitude to Ara Abrahamyan for the activation of economic relations between their countries. Some issues concerned Armenia were also touched upon. During 24 September 2004, Mr. Mo Hyuk-hon, the president of South Korea, visited Moscow by the official invitation of Mr. Vladimir Putin, the president of Russian Federation. During the visit, he gave the high rewards of his country to outstanding statements representing different fields of Russian Federation. Ara Abrahamyan, the president of Russia-Korean Business Forum, was one of them. In Kremlin, after receiving the high rewards of Republic of Korea, Mr. Ara Abrahamyan went to Commercial Industrial Palace of Russia, where the founding meeting of Russia-Korean Business Forum took place. In his greeting speech, he mentioned that the newly established organization would make great success. Russian-Argentinian Business Forum showed that such kind of meetings can activate economic cooperation between the countries. In the evening of the same day, in the hotel, President Mr. No Myung-hyun mentioned that the Russian-South Korean Business Forum had great opportunities to succeed. From November 16th till November 18th, 2004, the first Russian-Brazil-Russian Business Forum took place in São Paulo. This was just before the Vladimir Putin's visit to Brazil. It's worth mentioning that in the history of these two countries, this was the first visit of Vladimir Putin. Both countries gave great importance to this meeting because this was a chance to develop the cooperation of both countries in various fields. These two countries have great perspectives in cooperation. As in 2003, the commodity circulation was over $2 million, and this indicator was sure to grow in 2004. This fact was also mentioned in the business forum taken place in Moscow, during which Ara Abrahamyan, an outstanding person in the business world, was elected as the president of the Council of Businessmen. Here, the regulation of organization was adopted. After 2 months in Moscow, during first session, the main program of the council was adopted, due to which the business council of two countries should highlight commercial and industrial, scientific and technical and other important relations, development of new technologies, agriculture and navigation. The document was signed by Ara Abrahamyan, Russia-Brazil Businessman Council President, and Marcos de Moraes, Brazil-Russian Businessman Council President. After this, two presidents of councils answered the questions of journalists. Even the television highlighted this event. In 9th and 10th December 2004, the forum between Russian and French businessmen entitled Russian and French Dialogue took place in Paris. All the great businessmen and presidents of companies of both countries participated in the forum. The Russian delegation, headed by Ara Abrahamyan, outstanding businessman, head of Armenian community in Russia. It's worth mentioning that French delegation was also combined with notorious companies' presidents and great businessmen. In the first day of the forum, the representatives elected president and their deputies. Ara Abrahamyan was elected as the president of the Russian side. Yuri Svezer, the president of Renault company, was also elected as a president for French party. In their speeches, the president mentioned that gathering their power, they would do their best to make the cooperation more efficient. They hoped that Russian-French newly created association will become permanently operating structure. And this only the beginning of the cooperation. In the evening of the same day, in the beautiful hall of Bristol Hotel, the session of Business Council Active took place. The Prime Minister of Russia, Mikhail Fradkov, was also present. This fact showed that the Russian part was truly interested in this cooperation, and they greatly highlight the creation of Russian-French Association. As a result of 2-year cooperation of this country, businessmen, a tangible increase in the development of economy in the educational and other field was noticed. Ara Abrahamyan also made a speech. He mentioned that the grounds of cooperation in different fields was already established and they would improve and develop their cooperation.